Okay, so we have JD Vance, and obviously the one issue they're going to try to get conservatives on is abortion. Many people, myself included, believe that abortion is murder, and it's not something that we want to compromise on. Unfortunately, if I had to predict, I don't see abortion going anywhere. Knowing that, conservatives during the election are going to shy away a little bit from this topic.
You know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options. And, you know, one of them is actually very dear to me. And I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect.
Now, again, the accountability point of view would be, well, if you are in an abusive relationship, bad choices have consequences. And if you're having sex unprotected in an unstable relationship, you have to deal with the consequences. But in 2024, as women, we have a lot of bailouts for our bad decisions. So that objectively, not a great choice. And then we're given technology to make it go away.
The vulnerable is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options.
Now, as women, I don't blame him for pandering a little bit because I think that's what they have to do. But as women, I like to be able to identify it. Do we have options? Yes or no? Do we have the option to work? Yes. Do we have the option for daycare? Yes. Do we have the option to stay home? Yes. Do we have the option to go to school and save money for a decade before we have children? Yes. Do we have the option to use Plan B? Yes. Do we have the option to get abortion? Yes. Objectively, we have all of those choices. So this is pandering a little bit.
Now, of course, Donald Trump has been very clear that on the abortion policy specifically, that we have a big country and it's diverse. And California has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona. And the proper way to handle this, as messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions, let the individual states make their abortion policy. And I think that's what makes the most sense in a very big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
I think this is smart. I would almost suggest the Conservative Party going to the point of being pro-choice. Now, I know that conservatives do not want to hear this. I know that abortion is morally wrong. I've seen abortions and it is disgusting. I can't believe it's legal, but we have to be smart. Do you guys think it's likely in our lifetime that there will be a repeal the 19th? The answer to that is no, unfortunately. This isn't Make-A-Wish. This isn't what I want to be true. This is what the market currently is. So knowing this, politicians are going to have to cater to female voters in order to win some of them over. So Melania also released a statement on abortion recently. We all know Melania is not going to say something without the approval of her husband, I would assume, right? I mean, he's a pretty powerful guy. And she put out a statement saying that she is pro-choice. Now, Melania has an appeal to women. I know there are many people, maybe liberal women, that maybe don't like her because she's married to Trump, but she's fashionable, she's likable, she's elegant. She has a female appeal. So I think it was really smart of them to have Melania make a statement backing up the Republican Party and saying that they're not as anti-abortion as the left is saying.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth. Individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
I think this was smart. I don't think this was an accident. I think it was smart right before election season. Again, guys, many people think that they're morally superior because they have a pro-life stance. And that's how they view themselves, that they have higher morals than pro-choice. At the end of the day, that has not been effective in reducing abortion. If anything, I would say maybe birth control has been effective in reducing abortion. But the year after Roe versus Wade was overturned, we had an increase in abortions. So as much as, even though I'm pro-life, I have to think, how can we be smart to get the best person in office that we can? Now, this could backfire. It's possible this could backfire after the election. Maybe they'll lose conservatives and they still won't vote Trump. I don't know. But the purpose of me saying this is to say, I don't think conservatives should write them off. We have to understand where Trump's coming from. They need the female vote. We don't win by catering. Well, then go full pro-life. Let me know how that goes for you. Okay,